Hello and welcome along to the start of what is probably the last season from this FM19 story, part of the furniture with me, Daniel. It's season 19 episode 1 and today we're back with our final big summer transfer special before we play our 4th Community Shield in succession, hoping to get a victory for the second time. We're playing Arsenal, the opponent we beat last year, which is a good sign after 2 defeats against City before that. So fingers crossed we'll be able to win that one at Wembley in a minute, but of course we've got plenty to worry about first. Another big summer transfer window, some changes to the squad promoting youth players, and of course some team news as well. It's an Olympic year and there's some problems to come with that, so all of that's going to be discussed in this episode. But firstly, a massive thank you to everyone who continues to support the series. I really do appreciate it as always. If you did miss our FM20 plans video a week or so ago, in fact the second one came out yesterday, then please go back and catch up with them. I'm really looking forward to FM20 and I've got loads of content planned, so I hope you're looking forward to it as well, and you can catch up in the eye above if you don't know what we're going to be up to. But of course today there are a few things to prepare for our final season with Torquay. It is looking likely with just 3 weeks to go until the FM20 beta that we're not going to be able to get more than 1 year in. It looks like they've been taking about 2 weeks a season recently, so that would lead us up to just 1 week before. So let's break this episode into 3 parts. We're going to have a look at the transfer window to see what happened, then we're going to go and look at the squad, because for the first time we've tried to promote a few youth players, move a few players around in the squad, some that have come back from loan that will be key players, and you'll get to meet them a bit more this season. And then finally, of course, we'll get into our game, hoping to have more success at the National Stadium. So let's go and look at the transfer screen. Still a few days to go in the transfer window, of course. One of the things that has happened since we've reached the Community Shield final regularly, of course that starts a week before the season and before the transfer window's normally shut. Already on this screen you can see the biggest offer we've rejected this summer, and Singy the centre-half, Atletico Madrid offered 114 million. He keeps putting in transfer requests as if he were desperate to go there, and I'm not quite sure why, as we're European and English champions, but he's obviously got his heart set on Madrid, so we'll wait until we get 150 million and then he can go if he still wants to. But a really top class centre-half, still only 22 years of age, so I'm quite determined to keep him here as he's going to be a star for years to come. And then on Jakupi, we talked about earlier this season, a 17-year-old Kosovan at Hearts. We pre-agreed a deal just after January, which will obviously take effect next summer after he turns 18, and he is going to be an absolute superstar, so I'm really pleased we managed to get him on the cheap. £120,000 is an absolute steal, and if any of you do take over this save in the end, he's going to be worth tens of millions when he develops. But let's go and have a look at the transfer history. The main reason we come back this summer, of course, you can see just one big signing and one free agent this summer. The big signing is a moment of resentment for me, and the first time I've had that proper bit of realism, so we'll talk about that in a moment. But firstly, we have made a profit this summer, so let's go and look at the outs. 2 big loan players first, one of them being Zitinho. Of course he's been involved for us, made 12 league appearances in the past, and at 22 he's now gone to Benfica, where he'll hopefully continue his development. And Nicolas Ruiz-Diaz, the centre-half, he's gone to Lyon on a season-long loan. The Paraguayan's now picked up broken ribs. He'll be out for at least a couple of months, so unfortunately he's not going to start the season with them, but hopefully he'll get in the team before too long. Then time for the big 2, as you can see. David Montano's first. He's gone to Bayern Munich, the old backup keeper. 50 million up front, 61 potentially. We bought him back and actually had room for him to be our backup keeper this year. Don't forget it had been McMahon in the past, but only because we needed to meet the homegrown quota. So we were planning to get Montano in, but when you get offered 50 million for your backup keeper, you just have to accept it and say yes. So he'll be first choice keeper at Bayern Munich, and we wish him all the best there. It just means that we stick with Stojanovic and McMahon, despite a few brilliant keepers popping up in our scout reports. And then the experienced left winger Daniel Kozul left for AC Milan on the same day. £45 million for a backup 31-year-old. We really can't complain too much, but we do have to pay our respects to him. He's been a brilliant servant, and although he was just past his best, he had done a brilliant job for us over a number of years. So let's go to the transfer history. He joined us the summer we got promoted to the Premier League, I think, and he's been an absolute star for us us since. £4.8 million, played with us for 8 seasons, and of course he made over 200 league appearances and managed a fair few goals in his time as well. A star off the bench in Europe and the Cups too, he really has been a key player for us and a brilliant leader in the dressing room as well. He's gone to Serie A for 45 million, basically 10 times the amount we paid for him, and what a sensational bit of business that is after a player served us so well. So we wish both of them the very best. The only other sale was Nathan Lee, the left back. He went to Forest for £250,000. At 22 now, he's just not going to make it, and with only 1 year left on his contract, it made sense to sell him on to a professional club. We're all about bringing players through and making them professional players. We're not on about getting them all through at Torquay. We just want as many as possible playing through the leagues. So speaking of that, there are some loans out this year. Stuart John's gone out this time to Millwall, a championship club where he'll be first choice striker. Fingers crossed he'll do well for them and be able to come back a better player. And then the other one we thought about keeping but in the end let go, Fitzroy Nethersole to exactly the same club, and again he's going to be first choice there and hopefully come back a polished Premier League centre half. Then last but not least, Darren Baker, a player who's played one game for Torquay, that really crazy one against Arsenal a few years back, where every player was on international duty. He was brilliant then and he's coming through quite nicely now. 2-star ability, 2.5 potential, and it looks like he's going to make it as a good professional. He's gone to Rotherham in the Football League, and again we hope he gets some game time this year. So a bit of an interesting transfer window in terms of players going out, really focusing on the loan market, not lots of players going, but a couple of big deals to keep us afloat. And coming in to replace them are 2 players, one a free agent that we talked about a few times in the past, and one a left winger that I resent paying so much for, but of course we had to try and get the best player in the position. So let's start with Lamech, I think that's how it's pronounced anyway, a 28-year-old Algerian with over 100 international caps, played over 100 games for Everton and Fulham in the Premier League, and he is still a very solid player. 3-star ability, 3-star potential, an average weight by our squad standards, and happy to be here as a backup player on a relatively short-term deal. So he's a player that we did look at in his younger years. It was the one where our scouts didn't really rate him too highly, but he turned out to be a very good player. And now he's joined here and he's equal with Raphael, and he's a natural in the holding role and central midfield, something that also endeared him to us. So very much a 4th or 5th choice, or a second backup in most positions, but we're delighted to have that extra quality in the squad, and it should help us as we chase a quadruple again. And then secondly is the big one, replacing Daniel Kozel, it's Lee Camp from Watford. There are a few positives to this deal. It was the best left winger we could have signed within budget, particularly in terms of the wage bill. We've taken the best player off the hands of our beloved Luton Town's rivals. They obviously finished 6th last year, Watford, and of course won the Carabao Cup as well, but I do resent paying 88 million for a player that's no better than what we had. So he's 2.5-star ability, 3-star potential, really not anything special and one of the worst players in the squad, but I could not find another left winger that was decent who was able to play in that winger duty. He's only 22, so he could improve a bit. Of course he's homegrown for the squad as well, having played for Watford, Blackburn and Southampton, and he's still worth 60 million, so we should get most of our money back, and again he's not asking to be a first choice player, so a good deal across the board for us. He can also play naturally in left midfield, which may benefit us in Europe, but of course last season after getting over the line we are a little bit less worried about changing our tactic. So an interesting summer in the transfer window. Let me know what you think of the signings. Nothing spectacular, but I think it's just what we need to keep the squad as strong as possible. Then in the squad we have promoted a few youth players. So Pete Harlan was the other one alongside Fitzroy Nethersole. Basically we offered them both out to loan. Nethersole got a good offer from the Championship. Pete Harlan didn't, so he stays with us and he's got a slightly higher potential anyway. So fingers crossed he'll contribute this year. As will Andrew Brown, the wonder kid centre forward. He's come back from a loan spell at Millwall last year, with Stuart John obviously going the other way this season. Now 13 finishing, 18 heading, and brilliant physical attributes too. So he'll be our 3rd choice striker and winger, and then James Smith will be involved as well. The man we bought from Aberdeen on the cheap a couple of years back, and now he's worth £10 million. 2.5-star ability, 5-star potential, could be one of the best players of a generation. He really does look like something special. His best role's a number 10, so I'm not quite sure what we'll do in that regard, but he can cover over on the left wing and he's a decent striker as well. So some young players that we're trying to promote for our last full season, and hopefully we'll be able to make the Torquay fans proud. But with all that done, let's go and get into the first game of the season, the curtain raiser against Arsenal. Of course, we will be starting with cup finals across the board this year, as the next episode is likely to be the European Super Cup final. We've got Liverpool in that one, who won the Europa League, so another all-English tie for a final. And of course, we'll look forward to that one in the next episode. It's a chance to win the last of the 6 competitions we highlighted as our main objectives at the start of this series. So for this one, we're slight favourites, despite having 2 players away with France under 23s, but it does mean we're a little bit short today, although Arsenal have got 3 players out injured themselves, so we have got a slightly changed team, and of course one debutant in the lineup as well. Stojanovic in goal, as you'd probably expect. He's going to be the sweeper keeper again this season. In the back 4 we've got Cura and Wagner at fullback, and McDonald and Hole at centre half, and Singy's unhappy and keeps requesting a transfer, so we're just going to wait for all of that to blow over. Hopefully once the window shuts and everything calms down, we'll be able to go back to our usual back 4. Baccanes is in the holding role with Omar and Keita in the middle, and in Yaladian and Kant the new signing on the wings, with Andrade on his own up front. According to our scout reports, Gracia's actually better now, so he will start the league season next week, but Andrade needs a little bit of match fitness, so he's going to start this first game today. Yaladian the only other man unhappy at the moment. Again, that one's transfer related, but we've got Diogo Sousa on the bench if need be, so fingers crossed they can all make an impact if they're needed. Let's go and get into this game against Arsenal and see if we can win the Community Shield final. It's a 4-2-3-1 for Arsenal, and have gone just about as strong as they can. One new signing, Liam Legg, the centre half, been at Burnley, he's a player we targeted in the past, really is a top quality centre half, and maybe that'll give him the edge in the title race. We're going to have to be wary of Arsenal this year. No other new players in the squad for them, so we're just going to have to see how this one pans out. Of course they've got the experienced Curtis and Tong, 2 England stalwarts in the national team, and in the familiar names Vinicius, Cross and Van der Kolk, with Navarro up front, a deadly front 4. Delgado in central midfield's been a bit of a hero for them too, but we're going to tell the lads to do it for the supporters, and I guess that's the best bit of news this summer. Stuart Jelling has signed a new deal. The only staff member that we've replaced is our head of youth development, and that's because Hawk, our previous one, unfortunately chose to retire. So our director of football went for a really big money signing, a £1 million man from Chelsea. He's our new head of youth development, so we'll go and meet him after this match. It's Keita to Cura as the first attack of the match comes though, into Omar at the back stick, brilliant effort which Curtis tips behind, and we're going to have a corner that will be an outswinger. Omar delivers it himself to McDonald, just loses out in the air, it's headed away as far as Keita now, and he'll start again with Yaladian on halfway. The highlight ends, but we've had the early chances, but with 15 gone it remains goalless. Not really up to speed either side in this one, but I guess we've restricted Arsenal very well. We haven't done too well ourselves at the other end, so we're going to go out with the same message again. In fact, no we're not, we're disappointed with what we've seen. The lads are fired up, Stuart Jelling's probably upset, but in the end we need a better performance in the second half. Delgado finds De Los Santos from the kickoff. Delgado again for Arsenal as they build from the back. The highlight ends, we don't get to see anything. They've not caused us a problem at all in this match. It's Cura with a throw on the left in attacking position. Down for Wagner who tries to shoot but it's blocked, and now Vinicius has got a one-on-one on the break here, but it's a brilliant challenge out wide from McDonald. Out for a throw and the highlight ends. It's still 0-0 and Arsenal haven't had one on target. It's Vinicius on the right again though. They are starting to get a bit more possession here, and we're seeing a few attacking highlights for them, and is this one going to end with a shot that tests Stojanovic? It's out to Montero on the right back. He finds De Los Santos who plays a 1-2. Vinicius going backwards again. Brilliant pressing by the Torquay boys, but in the end we're not really getting anywhere with it. Arsenal just keeping possession nicely. Van der Kolk plays a 1-2 with Fabio. He's got a man out on the left in cross. He's been closed down pretty quickly, but it's to Navarro, and now Delgado finds Van der Kolk. Brilliant effort from 30 yards, but it's comfortably wide of the post in the end, and they still haven't had a shot on target yet. With an hour gone it remains 0-0. 5 more minutes and we'll make some subs to try and get a foothold in this game. It's Cura with a long throw to Hull. Brilliant effort from Keita from the knockdown, and it's tipped over the bar by Curtis, flying up high to his left, and Omar will deliver the in-swinging corner, which is headed behind on the other side. Legg has been an absolute man mountain in the box for them, and Omar's got to try and beat him with this delivery, which goes to the back post and Navarro wins it. McDonald gets it out on the right hand side, but the highlight ends pretty quickly, and we are going to go and make some changes now, as there's a few nervous lads on the pitch. You probably know by now as it's our fourth final appearance in a row, but we get 6 subs in this one. So Gracia on for Andrade, Souza on for Yaladian, Omar replaced by Malik Kante who switches roles with Keita, and we'll leave the other 3 for the next few minutes and we'll make the changes if we need them. It's been a woeful game of football and we're 20 to go. We've only managed 4 shots on target all game. It's 15 to go and it's Cura with a throw on the right, in towards Hull but legs there again. It falls for Cura nicely on the right for a second time though. His cross is blocked though and it's back to Kante. He finds Keita inside. Out wide to Cura on the overlap, into Kante at the back post. His header doesn't even reach the goal line, let alone being on target. And Arsenal bring it away down the left with Navarro. A quick counter as Tong delivers. Vinicius is in and shoots, he looked offside. And thankfully the assistant referee's flags up. That really would have annoyed me if that had counted. Just over 10 to go and we will make another sub or 2. Not quite sure what we're going to do yet, but there are some poor performers that could come off. Bacanez is struggling for fitness, so Raphael's going to come on for him. McDonald's not had the best game either, and Singy on alongside Hole at centre half, and it leaves us just one more sub if needed. 13 minutes plus stoppage time to go, and I'm hoping we'll be able to nick a goal somewhere. It's Souza with an outswinging corner. Kante was flying in towards it, but he's headed away as far as Tong, and now Arsenal have a 3-on-2. 2 men over to the right, one's Vinicius, but his shot goes just over the bar, and remarkably they still haven't had a shot on target, but that one was a pretty clear-cut effort. Kante's having the worst game of all the players, but we can't take him off as we don't have a left winger available, so Wagner's going to be replaced by Moraes. That'll be our 6th and final substitution. 8 minutes plus stoppage time and it's still 0-0, and it really has been a very low quality game. 90 seconds to go and we're back with Cross on the left for Arsenal. Up by the byline, delivers it in, and Singy knocks down rather than away. Montero's shot goes just wide of the post. We survive and it looks like it's going to be penalty kicks, as Stojanovic is going to take this one long. It says in the commentary he's in no hurry to take it, but we have time wasting on a minimum normally, so I've no idea why he is taking so long. Maybe he's using his experience and feels we're under pressure. But hold on as Gracia gets in at the other end. Brilliant sliding challenge from the centre half, and now Curtis brings it down and goes short to Delgado. He finds Montero who tries to start one last attack. Out to Vinicius on the right hand side, into Montero for a second time. Now Delgado and Conceição, back to Ulysses on the halfway, and De Los Santos goes long downfield. Pedro Cura brings it down comfortably. I'm guessing we haven't got many good penalty takers on. I didn't look at the new signing Lee Kant to see what his rating was. As Gracia gets it out wide, it's going to be penalties. That was a very strange time for the match to end. If you were worried about our penalties in the past, then this isn't going to cheer you up. Our best taker has got a rating of 8, so that's going to make things very difficult. We're going to have Gracia going first, then Maddie Keita. I'm trying to base it on composure rather than finishing. It's generally worked better for us in the past, so we're going to stick with that plan for this shootout. Lee Kant will come in behind Malik Kante. He's not a good penalty taker either. And then Nsingi and Holder 2 centre halves, with Stojanovic coming in 11th. So let's go and see the shootout. It's the ABBA system, which I don't think exists anymore, so hopefully that won't be an FM20. Tong goes first. It's a great save, Stojanovic. Comfortable height, and he guessed right. And we've got a chance to take the lead with the first kick. Gracia shoots and it's saved as well. That wasn't the best penalty at Curtis. Again, a comfortable height to the same side, and it's pushed away by the Arsenal keeper. Keita steps up second. He fires it down the middle. We lead 1-0 and it's back on cue. Delgado with a chance to level it. He's going to slide it in. It's a brilliant penalty to the keeper's left. Never getting there. It's 1-1 after 2 kicks each. And of course Arsenal will go first again. Michael Vinicius to take it. Brilliant penalty to the top corner. Stojanovic had absolutely no chance. Raphael steps up with plenty of pressure. We'll go behind if we don't score this. It's into the top corner. A brilliant spot kick. He deserves a better rating for that penalty alone. Souza up next, a chance to put us back in front. He shoots and scores. And now the pressure's back on Arsenal again, who need to score this one to get back on level terms. De Los Santos with a chance to make it 3-3. The centre half puts it in the corner. It's 3-3 after 4 kicks each, both sides missing with their first kick. It's Conceição stepping up for Arsenal. 5th penalty for them. Does he score? He does. Straight down the middle, the keeper dived to his left, and now the pressure is going to be on Moraes. He has to score if we want to get to sudden death. Who's the Arsenal keeper for this one? Of course it's the England #1 Wayne Curtis, and we're relying on our backup left back, something that does slightly concern me. Here he comes then. He must score, Bruno Marais. He doesn't score, it's saved. Arsenal win the Community Shield. Not a trophy we're too worried about, but we wanted to add to our legacy. But on this occasion, it's a penalty shootout victory for Arsenal. After both teams missed their first penalty, Bruno Marais stepped up with the last and missed two. The pressure got to him. It's a 4-3 victory for Arsenal. Penalties are a lottery, we'll say they're unlucky, but really it was a pretty terrible game. So not the best start to the season as we're unable to retain a Community Shield, but he promises to step up again, Bruno Marais, and Lee Camp did make a debut. It wasn't a particularly good one though. We'll deal with the post-match press conference off camera. That's not something too important for now, but before we finish off the episode, let's show you the new head of youth development, Alfred Finnbogason. I think he used to play in England, did he? Southampton as a head of youth development and Chelsea. He didn't play in England, but various clubs across Europe. A really decent player and a decent head of youth development, and at 47 years of age, he's got plenty of improvement still to make. So we're delighted to welcome him to the club. Hopefully he'll have an impact in our last youth intake. But let's firstly go and have a look at the schedule to see when we'll be back for the next episode. And it looks like it's going to be another bizarre one. We're going to be back for the Liverpool game, which is of course the European Super Cup final, and it's right in the middle of the September international break, so we're both going to be playing backup sides again. We had this when we were at Newcastle actually, in our other series the head coach, so it looks like that issue's there long term. Fingers crossed it'll be fixed for FM20. So that will be the next game. We've got a relatively friendly start to the Premier League season, so hopefully we'll have started strongly when you come back. But if you did enjoy this episode and had interest in transfer window, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know what you thought of the performance and the debut of Lee Camp, and more importantly the players we've promoted to the first team. Do you think any of them are going to be able to cut the mustard? Fingers crossed we'll play better than we did in that Arsenal match, but of course the curtain raiser doesn't hold as much importance, so I can understand why players weren't 100% at it. A few were struggling for fitness as well, so hopefully those problems will be resolved pretty quickly. As it's the final season, let me know in the comments where you think we're going to finish. Remarkably, for the first time, we're favourites for the Premier League title, and Chelsea are very close second favourites, despite not being close for a number of years. So I'm interested to know your thoughts on that and how you think our last season will pan out. Subscribe to the channel for daily FM19 content from this Torquay United story, where we continue in every Sunday to Thursday at 4:30 until we reach the conclusion of this season. And then of course just under a week after that, we should be back with our first FM20 video. We've got our long-term story and our B to save on the way. If you don't know about those yet, then please do go back and check out our FM20 videos. We made our announcement about our initial plan, and then yesterday revealed the club will be managing in the beta, so please do catch up with both of those episodes. And if you're new to the channel and looking forward to the content, then please do subscribe for more Football Manager content. We've also got 3 episodes a week from Cricket 19, that's every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday at midday. We'll be continuing with that schedule to the release of FM20, and then we'll continue with 2 weekly episodes. Then finally our Snooker 19 career is nearing a conclusion. We're playing our final tournament, the World Snooker Championship. We're hoping to finish in glory by winning the biggest prize in the game, so come and join me and see if we can do that. We'll be showing action from every round on our run towards the final, as we hope to make it all the way. But a massive thanks for watching this one and following along for another season. I really do appreciate it and hope you continue to enjoy the story. And I'll see you next time as we try to complete the set by winning the European Super Cup final. Both teams are going to be depleted very heavily, but which one will come out on top?